Good evening. Welcome to our Tuesday evening meeting of the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club. My name is Rick Starr. And I'd like to welcome you all here. We have a meeting every Tuesday night here at Hy-Vee in the meeting room. And I'd like to remind everyone of a couple of things. If you have your phone, make sure it's off. And the mission of this Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication skills and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. And I'd like to welcome the members, welcome viewers at home. I see we have a guest today. Thank you for coming. Would you mind telling us what brought you here to Toastmasters tonight? How come you came to Toastmasters?
Yeah, my professor recommended to me.
Okay. Good. Good, thank you. Every Toastmasters meeting has a master of ceremonies, and today our Toastmaster is Dennis Gomez. Please join me in welcoming Dennis.
Welcome everybody. Welcome guests. I'm glad everybody came today. It's a beautiful day. Today I'd like to introduce our role players first of all to get the meeting started. Starting up, first of all, we have Manoli back there as our timer.
Good evening, everyone. Today I'll be the timer. We have, for the speeches, all the icebreakers will be 4 to 6 minutes. The green light will go on for 4 minutes, the yellow one at 5 minutes, and the red one 7 minutes. For speeches 2, there will be 5 to 7 minutes. The green light will go on, the yellow light at 6 minutes, and the red light at 7 minutes. For the table topics, the speeches will be 1 to 2 minutes long. The green light will go on at 1 minute, the yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red light at 2 minutes. Each speaker has 30 seconds before and 30 seconds after the red light goes off. Thank you.
Thanks, Manoli. We also have our videographer, Dan Craig. He's got you on camera. Our grammarian will be Leslie Hollis.
The grammarian, are we doing word of the day first, or?
Your choice.
The grammarian listens to the language used by members during the meeting, makes note of any exceptionally good or bad uses of language, gives a brief report at the end of the meeting about what you heard and observed, and I listen for the word of the day, which is memorator, is knowing by heart or by memory, involving or requiring memorization.
And also, additionally, Manoli will be our joke master later on, just so you guys all know. Another part also is that we will be having our ah counter. We'll be counting how many ahs, ums, buts, anything that uses a filler word will be Susanna. And we will be getting her that information shortly. Today, we'll start off the meeting with our prepared speeches. As Manoli explained, people have a set amount of time, and they will be going over their main topics that they have prepared for us to enjoy today. First of all, let's welcome our evaluator to discuss the objectives for the speech. Our first evaluator, it looks like, will be Jean Symington Craig for Marko Janic. And for the evaluator for Orion Abrams, I will discuss this 1 second quick. 1 minute quick.
Once you just, we don't have the product sectors going to come, so once you do those first.
Okay.
I'll
Okay. In that case, we'll first move on to our first speaker will be Marko Janic, and his evaluator will be Jean Symington Craig. Symington Craig, sorry.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. Marko is doing project number 10 from the basic introduction manual, the Competent Communicator Manual. Project number 10 is called Inspire Your Audience. And Marko, is this your last speech, or do you have others in this manual still? Is this the last one in the manual? So you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so this is 10? All right, this is his 10th one, last one in the manual. You're sitting there going, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay. So the objectives for this speech are to inspire the audience by appealing to noble motives and challenging the audience to achieve a higher level of beliefs or achievement. Also appeal to the audience's needs and emotions using stories, anecdotes, and quotes to add drama. Avoid using notes. Marko Janic was born and raised in Serbia in the eastern part of Europe in the capital city of Belgrade. He graduated from high school with a diploma in ecology. Afterwards, he attended and finished college, the University of Forestry in Belgrade, majoring in environmental engineering. After a little bit of back and forth, Marko moved officially to the USA after graduating in October 2013. Since then, he has been on a journey of growth, starting with learning the English language that he knew very little of at the time. I know no Serbian, by the way. So congratulations anyone who has a second language skill. And exposing himself to different kinds of works that involve being in the front line communicating with people. In January 2016, he visited Fairfield, enjoyed it, and decided to come back in August 2016. Currently, he works at the MUM Recreation Center where he manages the staff and the equipment. Marko is passionate about spiritual and personal growth, serving, learning, teaching, public speaking, writing, and the martial arts. His only intention is to be all, do all, have all, and give all. Please help me warmly welcome Marko Janic. And the title of his speech is, As You Think, So Shall You. Okay, very good. Looking forward to this.
Good evening. Toastmasters, fellow members, guests, viewers at home. As you think, so shall you. Does anybody know? Be, exactly. As you think, so shall you be. Let me ask you, how do you feel tonight? Let me start with that. Somebody tell me, how does it feel tonight? Hmm? Good. Good. Excited? Okay. The reason I'm asking that, I want all you to help me participate with me just for a moment. Just for a brief moment, truly check how do you really feel at this moment, right now. You know, usually through the day we walk out and somebody asks you how do you feel, and you say just good and pass by. You then another person, yes, how do you feel, and you just pass it by, you don't even answer. But how do you feel at this moment? Okay. Just please take a minute or half a minute and just feel how you feel at this moment. Feel the emotions, feel the energy in the body. Good. Now that you are aware of how you feel at this moment, memorize how you feel at this moment. And I want you to be grateful. Be grateful that you're alive right now, that you're breathing, that you have food to eat, that you have warm bed or roof over your head, that your family members or people that you love, they are alive and healthy. Just focus whatever you can that's closest to you and simplest to you that you're grateful for. You can even close your eyes, however you feel more comfortable. Just for a moment, just be grateful, absolutely grateful.
Is it kind of meditation?
Good. Excellent. All of you that participate, thank you so much. Now, if somebody would like to answer, is there any difference between how you feel before you were grateful and now after you're grateful? Is there any difference? Is in your change in emotions, and how do you feel at the present moment? Is anybody willing to answer that?
Thinking of all the things I'm grateful for, I feel like I'm blessed in so many ways, and I was able to
To enjoy, to experience it.
enjoy or
Yeah.
be happy about all what I have here.
Yes. Anybody else would like to say? Is there any difference between state, emotional state, and just state of being, focusing on the things that you have in life that you can be grateful for? Would you
I
like to say
also
that?
noticed that a little jump up, I was feeling pretty good, but, sort of even beforehand, and there was a little bit more
Energy.
liveliness.
Yes.
And
Thank you, Suzanne. So, this is just a true example, simple example of how easy we can change how we feel. And not how we change how we feel, it's that we are in charge, actually, how we feel. And our feelings are just our products of our thoughts. Let me give you an example. 3 years ago, when I came to the United States, we're here to stay permanently. My mother was going through some health challenges. It wasn't serious at that time. And then One day she went to a control to a doctor, and then they say they found something on the X-rays, the rentgen. And I was concerned. I was worried. I love my mother, and of course, none of us want somebody bad happening to somebody that we really love. And I was concerned, but I was still hoping it's nothing serious. It's gonna be all right. But then, after a couple weeks, the results came, and they say they found the tumor. I was stressed out. I started panicking. My thoughts, my mind started going crazy. My family was all upset. My mother was crying. Nobody knew what to do, what was going on. But luckily, just maybe half a year before that, I started learning and exploring the different fields of personal and spiritual growth. So I got to encounter some books that opened my mind and set me on a different views. So at that point of time, I had only 3 options. What I'm going to focus on. That was my first option, like all of us we had. And I could focus on, okay, this is something bad, and I cannot do nothing about it. My second option was, what's this mean? First one was what to focus on. Second one was, what does this mean? And the third one, what I'm going to do about it. I understood that everything in this world works by the nature of cause and effect. And whatever my mother was going through and had challenges, I understood that it came to her because of some cause. Doctors, well, meaning trying to do their best, they try to remove effect, not working on a cause. And whenever you don't work on a cause, whatever you move on the surface, it will come back. So I understood that my mother caused her to herself, to the way she was thinking, the way through emotional state, the way she was being, and the way she was feeding her body. Once I understood that, I knew where to start from. And I tried, first thinking that I should go and change her. I understood that I had to be her inspiration. Not the one that forced her to change, but the one to inspire her to change. So I tell Mama, I explained to her, I cry with her, and I understand. I told her that, Mama, I understand the situation, but I want you to know that this is not the end, and there is a chance that we can do this. And I'm so grateful I did that. I don't know where I get the strength from, but thanks to what I was focusing on, what kind of meaning, I knew that I give it a different meaning. I realized that, okay, this is some challenge for us to grow together as a family. And what can I do about it? I will do all I can. And I'll let go and let God. That's what I did. I work with my mother every day, try to inspire her, give her books to read with her, watch videos, pray with her, and did some things on the side that I tried to contact people who do the energy healing and everything I could. And thanks to God, my mother, after the second operation, she's doing well and she's great now. She's healthy after 3 years. And I'm grateful. I realized that was a challenge for her, but it was for me as well. Where I realized that either I'm in control of the situation or the situation controlling me. Either I can react to life or I can respond to life. I always do have that choice. I want to share with you what I learned is that, and what is true, what is said 2,000 even more years ago in every holy and spiritual book, teachings, that as you think, so shall you be. This is one of the books that I really love. It's written by James Allen, as a man thinking in his heart, so is he. It's also said in the Bible, Proverbs 23:7, yes, chapter 7. James Allen, in this little small booklet, he talks about that we always sow what we always reap what we sow. There is no other. There is one point from this book that I would like to share with you. He said, "Thought in the mind had made us. What we are by thought we wrought and built. If a man's mind hath evil thoughts, pain comes on him, as comes the wheel of the ox behind. If one endures in purity of thought, joys follow him, as his own shadow. Sure." Thank you.
For everybody else, there's going to be 2 minutes then to evaluate the speaker. Thank you, everybody, for your evaluations. It was a very meaningful speech. Next up, we are going to have Orion Abrams deliver a speech. And first of all, we're going to have Ryan Prana Miller as his evaluator.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Dennis. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Toastmasters. Most of you are Toastmasters, and we have some guests tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, quite a few guests, and viewers at home. I'm glad to be back. It's been a week or two, so tonight I am the evaluator for Orion Abrams. He's just recently come back to the club, and his project is Project 4, Words Are Powerful. They convey your message and influence the audience and its perception of you. Word choice and arrangement need just as much attention as speech organization and purpose. Select clear, accurate, descriptive, short words that best communicate your ideas and arrange them effectively and correctly. Your speech should add value and meaning as his assignment if he chooses to accept it. I hope it's not a memorator, but you get the idea. A short, concise speech is what we're looking for. Select the right words and sentence structure to communicate your ideas clearly, accurately, and vividly. Use rhetorical devices to enhance and emphasize ideas. So this is a speech for, how to say it, for Orion. A speech about how I don't know how to give speeches. That's the title. And the bio, we've got Orion has doubted himself, but he is, this is just another one of those moments. But I think he's got a lot of potential in this speech since he's given about 3 speeches in this club, and they've all been powerful speeches. So here's Orion Abrams for speech number 4.
I didn't follow the directions of memorator very well, so I have notes, but try not to use them very much. Okay, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, viewers at home. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm lost in a forest, just putting one foot in front of the other, trying to find that sunny meadow of clarity, where I know that I'm giving a good speech. Kind of reminds me of when I was 14 and learning to drive a stick shift. I didn't know how to drive anything, and I started learning on a manual, and not only on a manual but on a mountain. So, we'd start the car uphill, and then I'd try and feather it, and the car would go back a few feet, and then I'd press the gas, and the car would go forward a little bit, and then clunk, 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 stall, and I'd go back another 5 feet. I ended up breaking the stick shift, but he said it was old, so it might have broken anyway. But what I'm saying is I don't really know any specific rules that I have to follow for giving speeches. It seems to be a bit more intuitive, or more you learn from watching other people speaking. there's these great guidelines in the Toastmasters manual, but I don't think any of them say, okay, so I'm supposed to look into your eyes for 2 seconds, and your eyes for 3 seconds, your eyes for 4 seconds, or what gestures to do with my hands, or if I use my right hand 70% of the time, my left hand 30%, or 50-50. And also, like, do I start here with the beginning, move here for the middle, here for the end, or do I like use more of the room, walk really close to people? I mean, there's a lot of things you can do, and I'm just not sure which one to pick. I guess that could just be a lack of self-confidence that could grow over time. But I feel like probably everyone has some doubts when they're first giving speeches, so it's probably common. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I'm not sure I'll ever prove myself of being an amazing speaker. But it kind of reminds me of this kind of putting one foot in front of the other and trying to learn how to speak better. Reminds me of back in school and writing a paper, learning how to be a better writer, and then you get directions from your teacher, sort of. They give you suggestions, or your grades kind of steer you in a direction of how to be a better writer. And most of it is just practice, trying to learn on your own. I think that's kind of similar because we have evaluators here, and you get suggestions and kind of work on your own to fix those. Even if there's contradicting suggestions, you have to kind of do what feels right. But it also is kind of like when I learned how to paint houses, when I just had this wall to paint and nobody told me how to hold the brush the right way, and I just had to just figure it out, on my own. But the great thing about that was if I messed up, I could just paint a second coat over it and it was fine. So I feel like maybe Toastmasters is a combination of learning how to be a better writer and learning how to paint on your own. There's this great manual that kind of gives you direction, but I think a lot of it is intuitive. A lot of it is learning from other speakers, and so that's just what I'm a bit frustrated about. Is I don't know if I'm supposed to just pretend I have all this confidence when I'm speaking, and then fake it till I make it, and then eventually I will. I don't know if I'm supposed to look at other speakers that I think are amazing, like Alan Watts. I thought my dad was an amazing speaker as well. Maharishi was pretty good, even though he was Indian, so he didn't have perfect English, but I still thought he gave really great speeches. Speeches had really great presence, I guess I can say that in Fairfield and people know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so do I do all that, or do I try and figure out how these great speakers became great speakers, or what's causing them to speak well, or do I just do all the lessons in the Toastmasters handbook and then hope that I'm an amazing speaker from that? I kind of starting to feel like it's a combination of logical learning and kind of intuitively figuring out what other people are doing. But the reason it's frustrating for me is because I'm just such a perfectionist. I don't think I'll ever get it right, and I think there's a right way to do it. And there doesn't seem to be a right way to become a better speaker. And I think that too often in my life I've let the doubt that I am not making the optimal choice prevent me from doing anything at all. When life throws curveballs, sometimes it's easier to stop playing the game, but you miss the exhilaration of trying to hit that home run. Thanks.
Enjoyed 2 meaningful speeches so far. Please take 2 minutes to evaluate the speaker. Thank you for your evaluation. Our next speaker will be Santoria Rush. Her speech will be about special occasion speeches. Number 3, the toast. The roast, actually. Better than that. Her evaluator will be Will Burns. Please welcome Will. Thank you, Jenna.
Tonight we have a shorter speech, a shorter advanced speech from Santoria, but that reduced length does not in any way diminish the importance of this talk and of the role in and of itself. Oftentimes, on so many occasions, we toil behind the scenes. And in this speech, number 4, presenting an award, Santoria will convey the importance to the audience of the award and of what the person receiving it did to warrant such accolades. Her objective is to present the award with grace and dignity, perhaps, but with Santoria, you never know what's going to come up, and to acknowledge the contributions of the recipient. The time is 3 to 4 minutes on this speech. Santoria was born in Shaker Heights, Ohio, and has spent much of her life in the Midwest. From a young age, she has shown signs of an inquisitive mind and a passion for personal expression that has seen her through till today and beyond. Unfortunately, it wasn't until her late 20s that she found a way to break free of this crippling fear of public speaking. Through her love of stand-up comedy and participation in Toastmasters, Santoria works diligently to master the art of public speaking. She loves the feeling of connecting with an audience and sharing her sense of humor with the unsuspecting. Tonight, she's doing Project 4 in the Special Occasions Manual, presenting an award. Please join me in warmly welcoming Santoria Rush.
I usually don't do serious speeches, so tonight is a very great occasion for me. Good evening, guests, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. Since the 50s, globally, we've been trying to decrease pollution and waste in all countries. One source of waste that people usually don't think about is that of food waste. Food waste is actually a huge problem. Did you know that 3.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide are released into the atmosphere every year because of food waste? Or that the average American produces their body weight in food waste every year? Or even that the Western countries produce more food waste than is actually produced in sub-Saharan Africa each year? That's why today I'm proud to present this award, the 2017 Organics Recycler of the Year. Randy is an important part of our community. Randy and his family moved to Fairfield in 2004. Him, his mother, father, and 12 brothers and sisters. Right away, Randy got a job at the old Hy-Vee as a cashier and a stockroom checker. Unfortunately, in 2007, Randy's father was killed crossing the street, and from that day on, Randy was no longer the same person. He decided that he wanted to live a more sustainable life, and because of his experiences at Hy-Vee, focused on using what he perceived to be excessive food waste. From that day on, Randy would gather his friends and they would go to dumpsters and trash cans to find food to eat so that he could live a life, feed his family, sleep all day, and not go to work. When I contacted Randy, and I said, Randy, I want to give you an award, Randy was not too pleased. He doesn't like people, definitely doesn't like crowds, and only is around at night. So, tonight, all I can give you is a picture of this year's recipient. Randy the raccoon. Randy lives in my neighborhood, and we're great friends. And it's amazing because if you think about it, raccoons are trying to fix something that we're doing bad to the environment. Easily, with enough raccoons, you can reduce your food waste by over 20%. Not that people like having raccoons go through their trash. But even still, I think it's important to present Randy with this year's award. Without you, Randy, there would be way more waste to deal with. And thank you for putting the environment first.
Thanks to our friend Randy, we have a better community every day. Love raccoons, I enjoyed that speech. Everybody please take 2 minutes to evaluate. Thank you for your time, everybody. Now we will take the attention over to Manoli. She will discuss which speakers have qualified. Excellent. Well done. Everybody has made the time.
Their names.
And the names are Marco Yamich, Sephora Rush, and Orion Abraham.
Okay. Please vote. Everybody, for those, especially for those of you who are guests, you should see a small sheet of paper that will have 3 different evals for. For those who don't see it yet, we'll take a minute to get those sheets out. Okay. Everybody has voted. The next section will be, we will first have our general evaluator, Dan Craig, talk about all 3 speeches and their evaluators. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Dan Craig.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Now we're at the portion of the meeting where we hear the feedback from the evaluators. I'm going to first introduce Jean Symington Craig. She's going to give us the evaluation she has for Marco.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow conscious communicators, honored esteemed guests, and particularly Marco. I'm going to read the objectives for speech number 10, Toastmasters International, giving us guidelines on what to look for. So the first question, was the speech topic relevant to the occasion selected? The project asked the speaker to come up with some sort of occasion, and you all pretend that you're in this occasion. He didn't quite do that, but I still gave him an excellent because he's talking to Toastmasters, which is self-development group by definition, and he was talking about self-development. So he knew his audience that way. Did the speaker understand and express the feelings and needs of the audience? I think he actually had an interesting exercise to get us all in touch with how we were feeling, and then to give us a sense of how to make a change in that feeling, so we were all getting on the same page in terms of feelings and needs of how are we feeling, getting us some attention on that. Was the speaker forceful, confident, and positive? I said he was. I said he very much was. Did the speaker effectively use stories, anecdotes, and quotes to help convey his message? Well, he had the story about his mother, which was the main story. He had a quote at the end from a book, James Allen. And he also had a sprinkling of sort of folk sayings, wisdoms. If you're familiar with any personal development speakers today, you'll often hear several of these phrases. Could have attributed them to somebody, but anyway, we did hear some of those. Did the speaker's words convey strong, vivid mental images? Here's where I'd say there could be a little bit of adjustment. And by the way, this is all my opinion. Okay, it's just my opinion, doesn't mean you have to feel that way. There were, particularly in the stories of the mother at the house and the family, what the family's going through, I think there was an opportunity there to bring out some different vocabulary that would really paint that scene a bit. Now, English being a second language, maybe not so many words available, but I think there were opportunities to paint a little bit more vividly what was going on with the household and the anxiety and the desire of the son and the whole family to pull that situation together. Did the speaker's use of body language enhance his or her message? I thought gestures could have been a little bit more, even though it's a quieter speech. I think there could have been a little bit more going on. And I can't remember, but he could have gone 1, 2, 3, because his structure, this leads me into something I really like. He had very good logical sequential structure. He talked about noticing how we feel, noticing how easy it is to change, and then in the story, what to focus on, what it means, and what to do. He was very clear on those steps. I really liked his heartfelt, sincere nature as well. Just would like to see a more defined call to action at the end of the talk, so that me, as the audience, I can go away with something really clear that I can work with. And also I thought the exercises at the beginning were a little dragging, a little too much silence, and something started to happen. But loved the speech.
Thank you, Jean. Now, our second evaluator for Orion's speech is going to be Prana Miller.
Mr. General Evaluator. Mr. General. Okay, so my task tonight is to evaluate a speech that I did not know how to give speeches. And even though the title is basically just, it's very doubtful. I'm sorry, Toastmasters guests, viewers at home, esteemed guests, everybody here. Orion's speech, I actually really found it to be valuable because it reminded me a speech is not a scientific, mechanical, we're not building an iPhone here. We have a speech that we want to write and deliver, but we're all humans and we want to hear something real. So learning how to write an effective speech is not just the manual, it's intuition, it's following other speakers, and it is also, just using the manual, which is part of it. But so that's what I got out of the speech. That was the speech clearly organized? That was what I got out of it. It's like driving a car. You were on top of a mountain, and I was imagining like a little Honda Civic on like the peak of Mount Everest, and and that was kind of a challenging situation to be in. But writing a speech isn't that difficult because you obviously did pretty well, I think, with your speech. What did I like about the speech? It made me remember that I guess just that a speech is in this situation, you were saying how to say it. That was the purpose of your speech, how to say it. And you used simple, clear words. You didn't use a lot of jargon. So yeah, not a lot of jargon. That was good. was appropriate for this assignment. Excellent choice, I think, because you're saying how to say a speech, and we all are speakers, so we're here to learn how to speak. So it was, I mean, you nailed that. How to give a speech. Did you use short and clear words? I covered that. And yeah, I'd say my only advice for you, based on, which is kind of my own advice. I should tell myself this. I know you said at one point you said, should I use the stage? Should I look at 2 seconds, 3 seconds at everybody? I think you kind of muffled your way through the situation, and in terms of the body language. So I would say, should I stand here for 3 seconds and just kind of see the world, and then stand here for 3 seconds, continue with my speech, and then stand here for three seconds? You know, just really nail those body language cues. And that's my advice for future speeches. And also, I think you should end with like another metaphor relating to something that you started. You know, like the car metaphor. See if you could work that into your end of your speech somehow. Thank you. All right.
Brana.
Yes.
Now, our third evaluator for Santoria's speech is Will Burns. Let's welcome Will.
Thank you, Dan. Can I have green light there, please? I'm in a kind of interesting position here where I actually might give a longer evaluation than the speech that I'm evaluating, but that's okay. Did the speaker clearly explain the purpose of the award? Santoria clearly explained the importance of the 2017 Organic Recycler of the Year award. We are in a food waste epidemic that is gripping our society, and we must recognize those that are doing their part to turn the tide on this front. She explained personally how Randy overcame great personal tragedy to turn his life around and to make huge changes from his employment situation where he was to relocate to a new area and to rededicate himself and become the 2017 Organic Recycler of the Year. How sincere was the speaker in her praise? The thing with Santoria is that she just comes across so sincerely that I never have any idea how sincere she is on a topic or not. So I'm going to give it to her. I think she's quite sincere. She just really conveyed that to me where I can see that. What could the speaker have done differently to make this speech more effective? Not more effective, because I'm really racking my brain here on what could actually be considered a clear improvement in my mind. But something different perhaps would be to present some sort of deluxe organic treat for recycling. Just different. I think the award would have worked for just about anybody. What did I like about the speech? Well, so much. Santoria added gravitas and depth to this presentation and to this award. She explained why it was important. She chose a willing, or perhaps an unwilling individual, but certainly a worthy applicant. And probably the biggest thing I could say is that if I was ever called up to have an award presented to me for whatever reason, as remote as that might be, I would be honored to have Santoria present. Great job, Santoria.
Now we're going to move on to the next portion of our meeting, which is table topics. It's the time where we can do impromptu speaking. And after one of our members has demonstrated the first time, guests are welcome to come up and give it a go. We have a table topics master who is Fraser Jones. Please welcome Fraser.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. Yeah, I'm very pleased to be Table Topics Master for this evening, and the theme of the topics will be our favorites. The topics is, you'll be speaking for about a maximum of 1 minute. In 1 minute, the green light will come on. 1.5 minutes, the yellow light, and the red light will be after 2 minutes. So you should try and stop as soon after the red light. You have 30 seconds after the red light for your speech to qualify. Okay, so any volunteers? Okay. Okay, Marco?
The question?
Yes, so what is your favorite book that you enjoyed and why?
Here I go again, huh? Fellow Toastmasters, guests, and viewers at home. I have quite a few favorite books. I cannot say just one. But right now, the most intriguing book for me is, I didn't finish it yet, totally. But I'm really into it, and I feel that book resonates so much with me. It's called Conversation with God by Neil Donald Walsh. And what I felt when I reading that book is that he was carrying on. The book is about he was carrying conversation. I watched the movie, the story about him, what he was going through. And after that, I somehow picked up the book and started reading it. And he got into a situation where he was homeless. He was really well-educated man. He had a good job. He was doing quite well. And then at some point in life, he just got homeless and lost everything. Just living on the streets, sleeping with homeless people, and just life was down the hill. He couldn't help it. He couldn't find a job, but he didn't give up. And then one night he got really angry, and he wrote a letter to God in anger. And since then he got inspiration and answers from God. He was communicating with him. And that conversation where God talked to him, when I read it, it's like he's talking to me as well. And I feel emotions streaming through my body. I feel where all my skin got, I don't know the word, but yes. So that's the book I'm enjoying right now. I highly recommend it to everyone. Check it out. And thank you for listening.
Do we have another volunteer? What about our guest? None of y'all are brave enough yet? Oh. What is your favorite movie that you enjoyed and why?
Hi everybody. My name is Mohammed from Egypt. My favorite movie, actually, we have a lot of movies. But I don't remember actually the name of the movie, but the name of the movie, it was a story, I can say about the story. The story was about some guy who was born in India, and he was lost. He was loving his brother a lot, and he was lost in the train. Yeah. Maybe somebody knows the name about it?
Lion.
Lion,
Yeah,
exactly,
that's
yeah.
right.
So he was lost in the train, and some family from Australia, I think, they picked him and they took care of him till he was grown up. And because he was loving his brother, this was amazing for me. That he was loving his family and his brother, which is not existing anymore nowadays, actually. So he was trying to find out where is his home, to return back to his mother, to return back to his brother. But actually at the end it was like some tragedy there. His brother was died at this time. But actually he was enjoying to get back to his family.
Any others? Yeah. What is one of your favorite foods and why?
Good evening, Toastmaster guests and people at home. Favorite foods? Eating is so delicious. Well, if you go through the whole process of eating, you have the appetizer, the interest, and then desserts. I have good food for every part, you know. Appetizers, you have, I don't know, I like those little pastries that are fried and like croissants and things like that. It's very, very good, especially when you have cheese that melts inside.
Yeah.
So good.
Melted cheese, yes.
And, well, in interest, in big meals, I like pasta, but nothing can beat a very nice piece of meat, well cooked. Sorry for those that are vegetarian, but I love meat.
Yeah.
If you are vegetarian, you could eat an Alfredo pasta. It's very nice too. But at the end of desserts, you have ice cream. It goes with everything.
Yeah.
You could put anything on it, you know, and you will enjoy it. You definitely, it's one of the things that everybody could be passionate about, and I like also a big nice chocolate cake. Maybe that's the only thing that Trump and I are agreed. But I love chocolate cake, and I think it's very nice to have a dinner with cake and ice cream. Well, that's me. My name is Orlando Rocha, for those that don't remember me. And
We're
those
getting
that
so
are
much
new.
hungry now.
Orlando, like the city. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have time for another one or?
No, why don't you introduce the evaluator?
Okay.
Oh, no, first.
No,
go.
the time, man. So, the time?
All of the table topics, speakers qualified, Marco, Mohammed, and Roman.
Okay. So, will we now vote for the best table topic speaker? You have the. So, you want to repeat the names? So,
It was Marco,
Marco,
Orlando,
Orlando,
and Mohammed.
and Mohammed, right? So,
Thank you, Fraser. Honored guests, fellow Golden speakers and viewers at home. We had 3 excellent table topic speeches, and I'd like to go through them one by one. Marco was asked about his favorite book. Marco greeted the audience, as we do at the beginning of every speech. He explained this wasn't an easy task because he had enjoyed so many books. Finally, he picked on one, Conversations with God. Gave a background of the author, how the author eventually had communication with God, and then Marco ended it with a personal anecdote, how he felt he was part of that conversation. I thought it was, and at the end you had a very good summation. I thought it was an excellent speech. It was very well structured, which is a challenge in a 1 or 2 minute speech. The only suggestion I would have is at times you spoke a little softly. It was difficult for me to hear. I was in the back and there are fans in this room. So just a suggestion, try to speak a little more loudly. Mohammed, was this your first time giving a speech? Congratulations. I mainly want to congratulate you on your courage for getting up here to give this speech. Another thing, you didn't seem nervous. One thing I always say, no matter how you're feeling inside, anyone appears much less nervous. You seem very calm up here. You had a nice synopsis. I thought the speech was well timed and you spoke clearly, so congratulations. Again, my comment would be if you would just speak a little more loudly. You have to be aware of the surroundings, and it is a little noisy with the fans, but good speech, good job. Orlando, welcome back. Good hearing your speech again. You were asked to describe your favorite food, and the thing that stuck out was just your enthusiasm for eating, your expression of the sensuous pleasures of food, and that's what I got out of it. Just a from the heart, emotional expression of the joys of eating, and I like that a lot. One suggestion, you tended to pace a little bit, kind of walk back and forth, and I would just suggest you have your stage movements a little more purposeful. But again, very good, very enjoyable speech. Thank you.
Now we're going to vote for the best evaluator. So, Madam Timer, did all the evaluators qualify?
Yes, all of the evaluators qualified. It was Jean Symington Craig, Prana Miller, and Will Burns.
And how about Rick?
And Rick Stark.
Let's vote for best evaluator, Jean, Prana, Will, or Rick. And we're back. We're going to go ahead and get the reports from our various role players. We'll start with Manoli, who will give us the timers report.
Time speeches, Marco was 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Centaurea's speech was 3 minutes and 58 seconds, and Orion's speech was 6 minutes. Then for the table topics, Marco was 1 minute 43 seconds, Mohammed at 1 minute 39, and Orlando at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. For the evaluators, Jean was at 3 minutes and 28 seconds, Prana at 3 minutes, Will at 2 minutes 40 seconds, and Rick at 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Thank you.
Now we're going to hear from our counter, Susanna.
Dennis, I didn't catch anything. I think I may have become the counter after you started, but I think you did quite well. Jean, 1 1 so, 1 Xerox. Marco, quite clean. Prana, 3 O's, 4 ums, 3 you knows, 2 buts, and 1 false start. Orion, 4 uhs, 6 ums, 2 likes, 6 you knows, 2 so's, 1 but, 1 Xerox, and 3 kind of. Kind of isn't on the list, but it is something people often use. Centauria, either you said you didn't have any of these fillers, or I was so distracted by your speech I couldn't count them. Dan, 1 so, Will, 1 Fraser, 3 uhs, Muhammad, 7 uhs, and 1 so, Orlando, 1 and Rick, clean.
Our next report's going to be from Leslie. She's the grammarian.
So tonight, 2 people use the word memorator exactly as that word, Ryan and Orion. And Marco, in beginning his speech, used memorize. Orion used some really great colorful visuals in his speech, describing a manual on a mountain, so the stick shift, learning on a mountain, paint by numbers versus painting on your own. And the baseball analogy gave a visual, like hitting a home run versus getting it over the plate. I liked Santoria's visual of giving us an idea of how much food is wasted by giving us qualitative amounts, like how much we waste in our own body weight, and then how much waste that the U.S. produces versus the rest of the world. Will used gravitas very well. Marco's use of goose flesh, that's a nice visual that everyone, once you say that, everyone sorts of feel it. But my favorite good use of English language tonight was eating is so delicious. That was so fantastic, and everyone could relate to it. I don't know if it even makes sense, but it does. And then the description of the cheese melting, and like everyone was just going, oh yeah, crispy pastry. So yeah, that was fun.
And our last role player is our greeter joke master, who's pointing frantically to someone else. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay. Joke of the night. Got 3. First of all, 1 minute. Okay, I'll do 2. 2 of them. Okay. So this quick joke: Donald Trump, President Obama, and Hillary Clinton walk into a bar. They say, let's go walk into this bar, and then Obama and Clinton walk in. They get a carrot juice and a something else, and then Donald Trump says, "Ouch." So, okay, next joke. Okay, it's just good. All right, next joke. There are 2 kids playing softball. They want to throw a softball up, see who can throw the ball the highest. And the first kid throws it 500 feet in the air, and it falls down and lands in the sand. Second kid throws it up, goes deeper in the sand. So obviously his is better. He throws a higher ball in the air, and then the third kid, he throws the ball up, and it just doesn't come down. So that's the joke. No, there's a second part of the joke. The second part will be. I don't want to take your time.
Yeah.
There's a second part. It's a
We
two-part
need to
joke.
hear the second
Okay.
part.
Okay. So the second part. There's a woman with a parrot on a plane, and she has the parrot in her chest, in her coat, right? It's just sitting there, and the pilot comes out of the plane and says, "You can't have a parrot on this plane. This is a no animal, no pets plane." So she She's like, it's just in my coat, it's okay, you know. And so he takes the parrot and throws it out the window. And then 3 seconds later, there's a knocking on the window, and the parrot has the baseball in its mouth. So,
I'm glad we heard the second part.
I'm not a good
Santori will work that up into a new routine. It's my task at this point to evaluate the evaluators. I'm going to get 3 to 4 minutes if the timer wants to keep track. I can beat you to it, Jean. You always instruct the timer. Jean is the first evaluator that I'm going to evaluate. She evaluated Marco and did a beautiful job. She seems to have done this before, has some skills. She followed the manual. It was clear that she'd listened carefully. The thing that I liked most about her evaluation was that she had a lot of suggestions for Marco. She appreciated what he had said, but this was his 10th speech. It's time for him to get lots of feedback. And she had lots of good things, you know, more word pictures, more gestures, more call to action. Good, solid things that he can take forward and use in his next project. The only thing that I could think of to give as feedback to Jean is that she should not cause the conscious communicators when she begins her talk. That's the way you greeted us.
Oh, really?
We are not the maximum security prison club. Conscious communicator. It's a little hard to tell sometimes. Now, our second evaluator was Prana. He greeted the audience. He used the manual and referred to the objectives in the manual. I thought this was probably the most solid evaluation I've heard Prana give. Kudos for that. I enjoyed a number of things that you did. I liked the way that you tried to demonstrate the way that you would have used the stage. Like, make sure you nail it, like it was a gymnastics dismount. I think the only suggestion I have for you is that in doing your evaluation, you did a little too much recapping of the content of his talk. Since we've already heard it, and he most likely heard it, then it's better to stick to the appreciation and the suggestions. But it was quite clear from that you had listened quite carefully. So good job. And finally, Will, in evaluating Santoria, I liked your honesty at various points. You said, I can't tell if Santoria was sincere or not. You also said, I'm really racking my brain to figure out what she could have done to be more effective. And I like that because I had my little sheet out. I was trying to write an evaluation. I couldn't think of anything. So I was racking my brain along with you. I thought it was good that since you didn't have a suggestion, you said, well, at least let's do something different. Give us all an organic treat. That was good. So for you, I'm going to just give you something different. You stayed behind the podium and it was fine, but for something different, come out front. Move around the stage a little bit. And I think that you didn't greet the audience. I could be wrong.
Probably right.
That's the end of my evaluation. Oh, Rick.
He's fine.
Rick did his usual solid job. He gave appreciation and suggestion to every one of the table topic speakers. He obviously enjoyed all of their talks and he transmitted that enthusiasm to us. I don't have a suggestion for you. Keep trying, I guess. I'm going to invite our Toastmaster back up to give the awards.
Now's the time of the meeting where we're going to present our awards for all of our fantastic speeches. I have 3 pieces of paper right here, and while I take a look at them, during suspense, you guys gotta get into it. Start a drum roll. Right now, you guys. Drum roll, drum roll. Okay. First of all, the main deal of the meeting, the beginning. The Best Speaker Award goes to Santoya Rush. Congratulations. You guys, drum roll again. Go. Okay. Best table topics. It should be best table topics. It says best speaker here again, but that's alright. Table topics it is. It goes to Orlando. That was an epic quote of the evening. Eating is delicious. I won't forget it. Thank you. Last drum roll. No, I guess I should start hurting by the end of this meeting. Yeah. Best evaluator. It goes to Will Burns.
Thank you.
We also have 2 more awards to go out. One more is Competent Communication Project 4. How to say it? Congratulations. After that, we have another award to give out. Marko Janic, congratulations. You have completed. After that, I will turn over the meeting to Rick Starr. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. What a terrific meeting we had. We had someone give his first speech. Congratulations. Marco completed his Competent Communicator Manual. And all these guests, we had MUM students, we had former members, we had family members. This is great. Thank you all for coming. It's great having you. We welcome you back at any time. We have several new members tonight, and we are going to have a very brief induction ceremony. So if we could have the new members, Leslie, Kashif, and Orion, please. Orion's kind of a sort of new member. Please, if someone could escort them out of the room for a second. Thank you, Jean. Fellow Toastmasters, it is now our privilege to induct Orion, Leslie, and Kashif as members of the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club. Orion, Leslie, and Kashif, please. I'm going to read some things we'd like you to commit to, and at the end, if you promise to do these, that you will say, "I will." Just wait till I go through them. Do you promise to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for each assignment? Do you promise to apply yourself to the program outlined in the Toastmaster Manual? Do you promise to participate actively in club activities, including volunteering to be an officer? Do you promise to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner? to build open, friendly relationships with your fellow members, and to bring other new members into the club so that they can also gain the benefits of Toastmasters. If you agree with this, say, "I will."
I will.
Good, thank you. Now, if all the members of the Toastmasters Club would stand. And again, I'm going to read these out at the end, say "I will." We, the members of the Fairfield Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club, pledge to support you in your quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give you opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding, fulfilling, and fun experience. If you agree, say "I will."
I
will. So congratulations. Now I'd like to present you with all the loose change in my pocket. Present you with this Toastmasters pin. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Let's have a round of applause for our new members. Yay! Have a seat. You want to see something about the officer search? No, okay.
But we are having a new member orientation.
Yes. So right after this, we'll have a new member orientation. Jean will conduct that. And if there's no more club business, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.